I've decided to do one more video tonight. It'll actually put me about 2.5 weeks ahead now, I think. Which, considering I was about a week to a week and a half ahead, and I try and stay 2 to 3 weeks ahead, I'll take it. But anyway, her name is apparently pronounced Helle. Helle Crafts is who this is about. She was born July 7th, 1947, and she died, I'll go ahead and say it now, she was murdered November 19th, 1986. She was a Danish flight attendant. She was murdered by her husband, who was a pilot. His name is Richard Crafts. Her death led to the state of Connecticut's first murder conviction without the victim's body. Helle Nielsen married Richard Crafts in 1979. She moved to where he lived in Newtown, Connecticut, here in the United States. She had been from Denmark. Helle continued working as a flight attendant while she was raising their 3 children. She learned by 1985 that he had been having several affairs. In 1986, September 1986, so not long before, fill in the blank, every mean word you can think of, husband of hers murdered her. But Helle met with a divorce attorney and hired a private investigator who snapped photos of him kissing another flight attendant outside of the woman's New Jersey home. So, on November 18th, 1986, which is the night before she died, friends dropped Helle off at the couple's residence there in Connecticut, and she had worked a long flight in Frankfurt, West Germany, so she was probably really tired. She was never seen again after that night. That night a snowstorm hit the area. The next morning, Richard said he was taking Helle out and their children out to his sister's house in Westport to visit his sister and her family, I assume. When he arrived, Helle was not with him. Over the next few weeks, Richard gave Helle's friends a variety of different stories, which is how they knew to be suspicious, we'll say. Because that's suspicious. If you're telling the truth, it won't be exactly the same, but it won't be you tell one person she's visiting somebody in Germany, and tell somebody else she went to visit her mom in Denmark, and then you talk to her mom in Denmark and she's not there, and then he makes up another story. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's suspicious about it. Helle's friends say that Richard had a volatile temper, very violent, and they were very concerned for her. She had told several of them, don't think it was an accident if anything ever happens to me. So that should tell you something. And he didn't report her missing until December 1st. That's a red flag right there. On December 26th, Richard was vacationing with his children in Florida. Troopers searched his home while he was away. I would imagine that they had a search warrant. They found pieces of carpet taken from the master bedroom floor, which is another red flag. The family's nanny said that there was a really big grapefruit-sized stain that was dark. And then later the carpet went missing. So that's another red flag. There was also a blood smear on the side of the bed mattress. He made several unusual purchases while Helle was missing, including a freezer that was not found in the house anywhere, bed sheets, a comforter, he rented a wood chipper, you name it. Nothing that looks good on him. And they found a receipt for a chainsaw among his important papers. They found a chainsaw later in Lake Zor, covered in hair and blood, which matched Helle's DNA. I mean, no wonder he got convicted. The night of November 18th, hours after Helle had been last seen, there was a snowplow and the guy Joseph Hine, or Hen, it's Hine, was plowing the roads, and he noticed a rental truck with the wood chipper attached, parked close to the shore of Lake Zor. So another red flag. And it was only after the search that Hine reported what he had seen. He probably didn't think much of it. I mean, it's one thing before you find out somebody's missing. It's another thing when you find out somebody's been missing and all this. So I can kind of see why. Personally, he showed the detectives where he had seen it, and they examined that area and found a lot of small pieces of metal and 3 ounces of human tissue, including the crown of a tooth, the fingernail covered in pink nail polish, bone chips, a bunch of blonde hairs, all kinds of stuff, and O-type blood, which was her type. Again, you got to remember how old this case is. They didn't exactly have DNA yet, or if they did, it was in its very, 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 very infant stage. Because most people didn't even hear about it until 1993, 1994. So late 80s, it was at best in its infant stage. They concluded that the remains were hers, Helle Crafts, and they believed that it was fed through the wood chipper, and that Richard, the one that Richard had been seen towing, and a chainsaw that contained trace amounts of blonde human hairs were found underwater. I'll let you decide if that's a red flag or not to you, but it definitely is to me. He had, or somebody had, scrubbed away the serial code. They were able to recover the outline of the serial code, and applying a form of acid, and specifically for forensics, and the code matched up to the receipt previously found by the investigators. So it confirmed that Richard was the owner of the chainsaw. It's kind of hard to argue if there's a receipt there. Investigators concluded that Richard struck Helle in the head with something blunt at least twice, staining the carpet with blood. Then he kept her body in the freezer for hours until she was frozen solid. He then cut her apart with the chainsaw and then put the pieces through the wood chipper. They had to, in her particular state, the particular state where this happened, they had to have an official determination of death as the alleged victim, which started dead without a body, but the help of a forensic dentist and the tooth crown they found and other evidence, they were fairly confident she was dead, and how, and all this. Richard was immediately arrested after this. I find this very interesting. H. Wing Carver, which was the state medical examiner at the time, obtained a pig carcass, and he fed it through a wood chipper, and it had similar shape and patterns on the bone and the bone chips and everything, and they were very similar, and it strengthened the hypothesis that Richard had used a wood chipper to dispose of her body. It took a couple of trials, but he wound up being found guilty on November 21st, 1989. He was sentenced to serve 50 years in prison. He was released in 2020, so he served a little over 30 years, because it was November and 1989 and January 2020. So really it was just more like a little over 30 years, which is, in my opinion, is not enough for this person, this murderer, this piece of crap that killed his wife. And I think that this is a nice compromise. It'll be less than 15 minutes. Because the other one was like pushing 30 minutes. I don't think it quite made it, but it was pretty daggone close. And please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, comment, share, and any feedback, as always, email me, or comments are fine, or both. And with that said, I will make other videos, so you'll hear me in future videos if you choose to listen. And I hope you have a wonderful day, or a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for giving me your valuable time, And I hope you have a wonderful day. And bye.